Twitter has just accused Musk of manipulating this legal process. According to Twitter, Musk just wants to delay the trial and in reality does not want to buy the platform. Consequently, Twitter is not accepting this new proposal from Elon. But the situation is still very complicated because Twitter's slogan, #LoveWhereYouWork, doesn't work for its employees anymore, and the situation is getting worse and worse every day. In addition, Elon Musk revealed his plan about specific changes that will have a giant impact on employees, and that's why the situation is very tense. The people who are still on board are discussing whether to stay if the deal will be approved. Moreover, Musk has been totally flooded with recommendations from his close executives to fill up Twitter's inner circle with a special team that will change the whole platform. Among these recommendations are Bill Gurley of Benchmark Venture Capital and Emil Michael, a former chief business officer of Uber, who is the only candidate chosen by SpaceX CEO as the possible board member. But more importantly, there are names that no one expected. Furthermore, finally, there is leaked information about which department on Twitter will be revoked first. This is a very interesting situation, so let's explain it. A few days ago, we saw how Musk just brought back his Twitter takeover bid, and a Delaware court postponed the nasty legal battle between the two sides, giving them until October the 28th to resolve the deal. Now, what comes next? According to inside sources, things are really boiling up in Twitter Inc. There's over 7,000 people working for the company, and tensions have increased considerably. Those who remain are debating whether to stay if a deal is reached and see what a Musk reign looks like, or to jump ship immediately. Some employees believe the Twitter CEO's notoriety will energize Twitter's super slow pace of product innovation, especially away from the pressures of public markets. But then there are some who are more concerned about being at the mercy of a billionaire. But these people have to consider Musk isn't just a billionaire. After all, he handles massively successful companies and he's built himself quite the fanbase. Twitter staff are battle-weary, claimed Bruce Daisley, former head of Twitter's European, Middle Eastern and African operations. Well, it makes sense when you consider how long and how public the whole process has been. These people are probably just sick of being in the spotlight. After all, Musk's acquisition proposal in April triggered an instant outcry within Twitter. According to recent employees, the company's water cooler Slack channel, which is a messaging group meant to be the online equivalent of chatting around the office water cooler, was filled to the brim with messages from worried employees. These people were concerned about the industrialist libertarian policies and his promise to loosen Twitter's content moderation. Others have highlighted that Musk's current firm's demanding hours and work ethic were at odds with Twitter's more casual, remote working style. But here's the thing, the reason why Tesla and SpaceX are so successful is exactly this. Musk works hard. And when he works constantly, that's what he expects from his employees too. Seems fair, right? So, as the story progressed, there was also major uncertainty about Twitter's future direction. We're smack dab in the middle of a much wider economic recession and an advertising slump. The company knew what it wanted to do, but whether it was actually doing it is a whole different story. Meanwhile, leaks of Slack channel chats and internal conflicts have heightened tensions between staff on the ground and management. Twitter officials have cautioned employees that any indiscretion may jeopardize the agreement, and frankly, to keep their opinions to themselves. Not to mention, they've already upset so many employees by being quiet about the whole messy process. So, some employees felt silenced and like their opinion didn't matter. We have to wonder, what do senior executives and employees feel about the situation? One former executive explained that he saw the Twitter management follow a pretty traditional deal playbook in both their internal and external communications. But of course, this was never going to be a traditional process. And listen, most employees aren't planning to leave because of Musk taking over. They actually want to because they feel like there's a clear lack of care in the company for them. One senior employee even added that many employees were mobilizing by forming little support groups among themselves and planning their future. But to be honest, some employees may have little choice other than to accept their fate. If a contract is reached, the present board will be disbanded, and Musk will be in charge of determining the whole governance structure. In the next step of the whole drama, text messages were made public as part of the two sides' legal battles revealed some pretty interesting facts. We found out that Musk has been totally flooded with recommendations from his associates of high-profile executives to fill up Twitter's inner circle. These recommendations include former Uber Chief Business Officer Emil Michael and Benchmark Venture Capitalist Bill Gurley. But here's the thing, the SpaceX CEO himself has only floated one candidate as a possible board member, talk show presenter Oprah Winfrey. That's such a Musk suggestion, and we mean, who wouldn't want Oprah in the company? He has also explained that he'd personally oversee software development rather than appointing any C-suite executive posts. Meanwhile, Musk told Twitter employees during a Q&A session in June that the company needs to get healthy and will have to go through the process of rationalization of headcount and expenses. We'll have to see what these mean to him, but knowing Elon, we're sure he has some clear-cut ideas to carry out his plan. Some business sources claim that those working in the marketing and communications are painfully aware that their time at the company may be coming to an end. After all, Musk eliminated Tesla's press relations division in 2020, explaining that while other firms may spend money on advertising and public opinion manipulation, Tesla concentrates on the product. And this actually worked for the automobile manufacturer when you look at how successful the company is and the fact that Musk spends $0 on the marketing. The fantastic product simply speaks for itself, so he may possibly have the same plan in mind for Twitter. And then there's some in the company who are concerned that the rapid brain drain might put Twitter's infrastructure and user security at risk. Jason Goldman, a former Twitter board member and product head, believes that if all these individuals leave, the chances of an error happening exponentially increases. Staff have been analysing Musk's previous statements for clues as to how he'd shake up the social networking site in the future. He recently promised to deliver on fast product innovation and stated that software engineering, server operations, and design will rule the roost at Twitter under his management. Along with his constant vow to end the reign of annoying spam bots and to authenticate all humans, Musk recently stated that purchasing Twitter will be an accelerant to producing X, the everything app. So, this implies broader intentions to combine chat, payments, and commerce into a super app. How easy would life become? But let's be real. Is the 51-year-old's ambitions to tweak what Twitter employees consider to be a nuanced and well-informed speech standards that have caused the biggest internal uproar. While Twitter's reconsidering its own restrictions on permanent bans for violations such as spreading fake news, Elon has time and time again explained that he'd like to end permanent bans entirely. He'd instead allow all material on the site except unlawful content. He earlier told the Financial Times that he planned to get former President Donald Trump back into the platform too. Politics has become a Twitter playground as Musk recently got into a Twitter spat with Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky himself. But we know he doesn't mince his words for anyone. He even made employees angry by singling out senior Twitter personnel for criticism, including policy director Vijaya Gadde. But we have to wonder, how can a company really grow without anyone to point out its flaws and attempt to make it better? And then there are the recently released texts between Musk and Twitter CEO Parag Agrawal that show us how their relationship looked to be growing before it suddenly got worse. This worsened when the Twitter CEO tweeted, "Is Twitter dying?" The text exchanges, which were released in a Delaware court file, indicate that the two men spent some time bonding, mostly over their mutual passion of engineering, after Agrawal contacted him weeks before Musk launched his offer to purchase Twitter. The messages provide insight into the conversations that were happening secretly and tell us a whole lot more than what Twitter wants to tell us. At the time, the billionaire had purchased stock in the social media firm and was publicly advocating improvements to it or proposing the creation of his own social network. When the news of his appointment to the board of directors became public, he got letters from people like Joe Rogan, who asked whether he'd end the censorship on Twitter. On the 5th of April, Jack Dorsey, Twitter's former CEO, told Musk that Agrawal was an incredibly talented engineer, but that the company's board was pretty awful. And then just 2 days later, on April the 9th, Musk sent off that tweet in which he openly said that the platform was in trouble, severing their apparently relationship. That's it for today. Subscribe to our channel and hit the notification bell.